Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sit Down with Suzanne. This is your host, Positively Suzanne. Welcome to the show. This podcast was created with you in mind. Each episode is crafted with the goal of inspiring you to be the best version of yourself. So grab your beverage of choice, sit down and relax and enjoy the show. Ah. So many things to talk about, but this episode I'm really going to to talk to you about just the false promise of comfort. We continue to hold on to things that we are comfortable with, not realizing that letting go of that thing that we think is comfortable will bring us something greater. And holding on to those things can be causing you pain, but you don't realize it because you think that you're comfortable. We don't let go. We have false security in comfort, right? We think that, you know what? It's not hurting me or it's not hurting me too much. So let me do it. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I'm perfect because I've done it. And I'm sure that I'm going to do it again. And I hope that while I'm doing it, either somebody tells me that I'm doing it or I recognize that I'm doing it and I'll let go of it. But we hold on to something that is comfortable, that it's familiar. Because again, we're like, yeah, it's comfortable. And we don't realize that that very comfort is keeping us from attaining what we truly need, what we even want. We have to learn to let go of something that is comfortable and familiar because just because it's comfortable and it's familiar doesn't mean that it's good for you. We hold on to it for a myriad of reasons. A lot of times it's fear. We think that if we let it go, we're not going to get what we want. We think, you know what, I might as well settle for a little because I'm never going to get a lot. But the scripture tells us that if we're faithful over a little, God will give us a lot. He didn't say if you hold on to the little, I will give you a lot. And I think we messed that up. Be faithful over a little. So while you're in your growing phase, while you're in your value phase, valley, you are going to continue to push yourself. You're going to continue to feed yourself. You're going to continue to plant so that you will prosper, so that you will get to the mountaintop. But when you get to the mountaintop, you can't be holding on to that value mentality. You cannot hold on to something because it's comfortable. It is hurting you. It is costing you. Stop being so comfortable. Take yourself out. Get out of your comfort zone. There are so many things that I see that I'm like, okay, let's correlate it to let's kind of bring it together. I know this girl, she keeps saying, she uses this phrase a lot. Closed mouths don't get fed. This is true. Because if you're hungry and you don't open your mouth, how you gonna get fed? There's no food's gonna go in. Another saying is, if you don't ask, you won't get. God said, ask and you shall receive. So we don't ask and we don't get. You understand me? There's a story that my pastor had told, and I've heard it before about the monkey that pushed his hand in a bar and was holding on to something inside of these bars, and his hands in a fist, and he's trying to pull it out because he didn't want to let go of the thing. And yeah, it's a little different, but you see where I'm going. And he wouldn't open his hands to pull it out. Now that just means like, we're holding on. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, he's holding on to something. He's like, well, I've already got this, so I'm not letting it go. But if he had let go and pull out his hand, he would be free. So your freedom is worth any little thing that you can get in that cage. But we continue to hold on to things that is hurting us, that is causing us to cease growth. And not SECs, CEASECs, meaning stop, let go. If you need to watch Frozen again, and God help you if you do, because you ain't going to be able to get that song out of your head, just let go. Let it go. Let it go. Listen, we have to stop being so comfortable. We have to stop being so okay with the things that we deem comfortable. Like, it's paying the bills, so it's all right. I'm not saying go out there and quit your job. But if that very job is toxic to you and hurting you, look for something else and find another job. So don't stare in the thing that is destroying your soul because you're comfortable. It's destroying your soul, but you know what? Listen, my boss might talk to me as if I'm a child, but you know what? I get me a good parking spot. I get to come to work at this time. I go home at this time. And, hey, so what if it's destroying my self esteem? I've been here a long time. It's paying my bills. If you can't change the circumstances there, first try to change it or leave. Don't stay because it's comfortable. So I want you to think about this. What is it that is in your life right now that is comfortable, that is familiar, that you're holding on to, but you know it's not good for you? It could be a relationship. I'm not going to lie to you. I have a lot of friends that are single, and I'm grateful every day that I don't have that. That's not one of the other things that I have to deal with right now. Well, oh, baby, I love you. It's not one of the things that I ever have to deal with. But the single folks that are dealing with it, y'all, it's rough out there for them. I know that. So I'm gonna pray for y'all because I have some conversation with my single friends, and it's tough out there, both for men and women. Dating is a different world out there, but that's not what this show is about. But because you don't want to be single in this world, and I get it, I wouldn't want to be either. You hold on to a relationship that is not good for you, and you're like, I just can't be single. And I'm not saying that it's a bad, because if it's different, it's like it's toxic, if it's verbally or physically or mentally abusive, that's a whole different story. But like, it's not good for you. You're like, but at least I'm not single. I think consistently choosing comfort and familiarity over better will slowly start to erode who you are. You're going to lose all sense of who you are. You're going to lose your purpose. And that's not okay. So stop holding on to what's comfortable. Stop holding on to what's familiar. You have greatness inside of you. Greatness beyond your wildest imagination. But you can't achieve it if you don't let go of what you have right now, the comfort. I'm not saying to blow up your life. I'm saying to examine your life. Look at the areas of your life that you're not happy with, but you're comfortable. Comfort is deceptive. Comfort is a false sense of security. Comfort robs you of greatness because you settle for what you have. You settle for what you know instead of going after something greater. I know I talk about these athletes a lot because, they're who I grew up with, they're who I love, who I respect. What if Kobe had settled to just the God's given talent that God had given him? Still pretty good. If he hadn't trained and gone to the gym and, on the courts and trying to be better. Michael Jordan, Usain Bolt, Tiger Woods, Simone Biles, Venus and Serena, Misty Copeland, Oprah Winfrey. What if all these people had just settled with the God's given talent? Because God gave them a great gift. So they could have sat back on their laurels and said, well, this is it. And it would have been good, maybe great even. But they wanted to be better. So instead of settling, they elevated, they enhanced, they created something greater. They weren't comfortable. So they pushed themselves. So I am telling you, stop being comfortable. Push yourself to the next level in whatever area of your life that you want to improve. Stop letting comfort rob you. Stop letting comfort keep you from your path. Examine your life. Examine your relationships. Examine your accomplishments, your failures, your mistakes. Take a full account of the things that are in your life. And if you're okay with it, okay. But ask yourself, am I okay with it because I'm really okay? Or am I okay with it because it's comfortable? Don't stick to something familiar. It's funny. I've had different jobs over the years. And the most challenging piece is when someone says, this is the way it's always been done. I'm like, okay. Now, Susie ain't got her work cut out for her because I got some work to do. Because now I need to change that person's mindset. And I've been pretty successful, and some I have not. Believe me, I haven't been able to change everyone's mind. But that is a dangerous mindset to have when people come say to you, this is the way that it's always been done, especially if that way isn't working. Because if it's not working and we've always done it that way, we need to change it. And even if it's working, we still need to improve it. I remember, oh my goodness, when I'd interviewed to work at this space and this company, and I remember the DM had said to me, who do you think? Now, he knew what he was talking about because this company had lot of tenured associates. They had been there over 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And he said, who do you think it's tougher to handle, the newer employees or the older employees? Now, I was coming from an environment that I was in for quite a few years. And in that environment, I had a lot of younger workers. And, they were not invested. It wasn't a career path for them. They were just doing it, it's a part-time job. They were making their money and they go home and get their discount. So I answered based on my lived experience, the younger ones. And he said, no, it's the older ones, the ones that are set in their ways, the ones that have been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years, and they are not changing it. They don't care to change it. They are harder to win over. And that was his lived experience. And honestly, working there, I did find that out. It wasn't my experience, but it was just interesting. And when I worked with these people, and there were a lot of them, they were so comfortable doing something a particular way. Like, even though they knew it wasn't working, I mean, they would literally tell you this is crazy, but they didn't want to change it because it was familiar, it was comfortable, it's what they knew. So don't turn into that person that's unwilling to change because it's uncomfortable, because it's comfortable, especially when you know it's not working. And trust me, we know when something's not working. It's trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. You could use that little mallet and pound it in. But at the end of the day, even if it does go in, that's not where it belongs. So stop settling for comfort. Stop settling for familiar. And let's get to great. Because baby, you got greatness in you, and I know that you can. Personally, for me, there are a lot of things that I do. Um, and I'm always willing to learn, to change it, to get to better. Because I have really big goals and dreams, and I really want to, not really want to, I will achieve them. And sometimes I'm doing some things and I think it's the right way. And I learned to do it that way. And then I found out that very way is causing slow progress for me. It's not easy for me to give it up because I've worked and I've invested in this. Sometimes monetarily, but my time. Because anytime you're trying to perfect something, bring excellence out, you have to invest your time. So I'm not saying I happily give it up, but in order to get to the next level, I have to let go of it, even though it's familiar and comfortable. So those are the things the way I try to live my life. And I'll say that to you. I hope after this, you will be able to let go of what's comfortable and what's familiar and go towards what's greater, what's better for you. And you alone know that. I can't know that for you. So I know that I have listeners from all over the globe. I have listeners in Asia, in Germany, in Africa, in Brazil, in Jamaica, and right here in America. Stop settling for comfortable when you deserve great. And until next time, this is Suzanne saying thank you so much for listening to this episode. I would love for you to hop on to any of the major podcasting directories that we're in. We're in Amazon, Apple, iHeart, Spotify, Pandora, my website, www.positivelysuzanne.com. Like, share, subscribe, share your feedback. Choose your app and let's get to work and tell a friend to tell a friend that this podcast is where it's at. And if you're feeling generous, leave a feedback. And please support me and the podcast at buymeacoffee.com under Positively Susie. And until next time, stop settling because you deserve great.